My sister stole every penny of my life savings. So I took back the one thing she loved most and made sure she faced the consequences. I always knew my younger sister, Amanda, 27F, was selfish, but I never thought she'd go as far as stealing my entire life savings and then acting like it wasn't a big deal. Growing up, Amanda was the golden child, the one who could do no wrong in my parents' eyes. She was spoiled, coddled, and never held accountable for anything. Meanwhile, I was expected to be the responsible one, the one who understood when Amanda needed extra attention, extra money, extra anything. I should have seen this coming. For years, I played along. I worked hard, got good grades, got a stable job, and built a life for myself. I saved every spare penny I could, putting together a nest egg that I had been growing for nearly a decade. That money was supposed to be for my future. A down payment on a house, an emergency fund, or just the peace of knowing I had something to fall back on. But Amanda, she didn't care about any of that. She thought my money was her backup plan. And when she took it all, she had the audacity to act like I was the unreasonable one. A few months ago, Amanda called me out of nowhere, freaking out about how she was in deep trouble. She had racked up thousands of dollars in credit card debt, had loan sharks breathing down her neck, and was on the verge of losing her apartment. Now, this wasn't new. Amanda had always been bad with money. She lived like she was a Kardashian, even though she barely had a job. She went on luxury vacations, wore designer clothes, and racked up bills she couldn't pay. And guess who always bailed her out? Me. I had helped her before. Paid for her car repairs, covered her rent once when she blew her money on a self-care retreat, aka a luxury vacation she couldn't afford, and even bailed her out when she accidentally maxed out our mom's credit card. But this time, I was done. Amanda, I can't keep fixing your mistakes, I said, trying to stay calm. You need to take responsibility for your finances. She sniffled dramatically. I know, but I just need a little help. I swear I'll pay you back. I sighed, already exhausted. How much do you need? There was a pause. Then she said, like 10,000? I nearly choked. $10,000? I repeated, stunned. Amanda, are you out of your mind? And then, just like that, she flipped. Instead of continuing with the helpless act, she got angry. Oh, come on. You make good money. It's not like you can't afford it. I was so stunned I didn't even speak for a second. Because that right there, that entitlement, that was the real Amanda. She didn't feel bad. She didn't feel ashamed. She felt owed. And I was done playing that game. No, I said coldly, I am not giving you 10 grand. Figure it out yourself. And then I hung up. I thought that was the end of it. I was so wrong. A few days later, I logged into my bank account ready to transfer some money into my savings, but when I checked my balance, I froze. The balance was zero. At first, I thought it was a mistake, a glitch. I refreshed the page, logged out and back in, still zero. Panic set in. My hands started shaking as I checked my transaction history. And then I saw where the money had gone. It had been transferred directly into Amanda's account. I felt numb. Then it clicked. Our parents had forced us to open a joint savings account when we were teenagers, to teach us financial responsibility. I had moved my money into it years ago, meaning technically Amanda had access to it, even though it was my money, and she had drained it completely. I immediately called the bank, trying to reverse the transfer, but since it was a shared account, there was nothing they could do. Amanda had just wiped out 10 years of savings, and the bank was powerless to stop her. I was shaking with rage as I called her, barely able to keep my voice steady. She picked up on the second ring, her voice annoyingly casual. Hey sis, what's up? Don't you hey sis me, I snapped. Where the hell is my money? She sighed, acting like this was some minor inconvenience. Oh, come on. I was going to tell you I just needed it for a little while. You stole from me, Amanda! I was practically vibrating with rage. That was my entire savings. Do you have any idea what you've done? She let out a huff, like I was the one being unreasonable. Relax. It's not like you were using it right now. I'll pay you back. With what money? I snapped. You're drowning in debt. How the hell are you going to pay me back? Silence. Then she laughed. She actually laughed. Oh my God, you're being so dramatic, she scoffed. You're acting like I ruined your life. You make good money. You'll save it back up in no time. I felt sick. Amanda didn't just steal from me. She didn't just betray me. She didn't even care. I gripped my phone so tightly I thought it might crack. You have 48 hours to give me back every single cent, or I swear to God, Amanda, you're going to regret this. She just snorted. Oh, please. What are you going to do? Sue me? You wouldn't. She hung up. And in that moment, I made a decision. She was going to regret this. Because if she thought she could just take everything from me without consequences, then she was about to learn a very expensive lesson, and I knew exactly where to hit her. Amanda thought she could get away with it. She thought I'd scream, maybe cry, but then drop it. Because that's what I always did. I had spent my entire life cleaning up her messes, and she figured this would be no different. She had no idea who she was messing with. The first thing I did was cut her off completely. I blocked her number, her social media, everything. If she wanted to steal from me, she could figure out her own damn life without me in it. But that wasn't enough. Amanda didn't just take my money. She took my future, my security, the thing I had worked so hard to build, and while I couldn't legally force her to return it, I could make sure she felt every single ounce of regret possible. So I went after the one thing Amanda cared about more than anything, her reputation. Amanda loved to act like she was some kind of influencer, even though she barely had a following. She had a group of equally shallow friends, and the only thing they cared about was looking rich. Amanda needed to maintain the illusion that she had her life together, that she was thriving, and I was about to burn that illusion to the ground. A mistake? My voice came out sharper than I intended. Mom, do you even hear yourself? This isn't some random relationship drama. Emma deliberately tried to sabotage something important to me, and you're actually defending her? You're blowing this out of proportion. I let out a humorless laugh. Right, because Emma is the victim here, and I'm just the evil, overreacting sister. Sweetheart, she said, slipping into that patronizing tone she always used when trying to guilt me. You know how emotional Emma is. She's just trying to protect the people she cares about. I had to take a deep breath to keep myself from yelling. Okay, so when exactly has Emma ever tried to protect me? Silence. That was the real kicker, wasn't it? Emma always played the role of the concerned little sister when it benefited her. But when had she ever looked out for me? When had she ever cared about my happiness? Mom didn't have an answer. Instead, she let out another dramatic sigh. Look, I just think it would be best if you two sat down and talked this out. As a family. No. Her voice sharpened. Excuse me? I said no, I repeated. I'm done. I'm not talking it out so Emma can twist the story and make me look like the villain. She can live with the fact that her little scheme didn't work. You're really willing to throw away your own sister over this? I let out a bitter laugh. No, Mom, Emma's the one who made that choice. I'm just finally choosing myself for once. She huffed. Well, I hope you can live with that decision. I smiled. Oh, I definitely can. And then I hung up. Jake was watching from the doorway, arms crossed, looking both amused and completely unsurprised. How'd that go? I exhaled, shaking my head. Exactly how you'd expect. He walked over, pressing a kiss to my forehead. Proud of you. And honestly, I was proud of myself too. But unfortunately, Emma still wasn't done, because 3 days later, she went nuclear. She showed up at Jake's workplace. Jake called me on his lunch break, his voice somewhere between pissed off and amused. Guess who just showed up at my office? My stomach dropped. Oh, you have got to be kidding me. I wish. He sighed. She asked the receptionist to call me down for an emergency. She looked all distressed, like she was about to drop some life-changing news. What did she even say? He snorted. Well, first she did that whole dramatic pause thing, like she was about to reveal something shocking. Then she looked me dead in the eye and said, I just think you should know that my sister is cheating on you. I nearly choked on my drink. What? Jake actually laughed. I swear to God, she said it with a straight face, like she thought I'd just believe her on the spot. I was seething. How did you respond? I asked her for proof, he said simply, and shocker, she didn't have any, just some vague, I've seen things nonsense. When I pressed her, she got flustered and said she didn't have to prove anything to me. I groaned, rubbing my temples. He's desperate. I started small. I reached out to a few mutual friends, the ones who actually had a sense of responsibility. I casually mentioned what Amanda had done, letting it slip that she had stolen thousands of dollars from me and was now pretending nothing happened. The news spread like wildfire. People started asking questions. Her friends, especially the ones who constantly borrowed clothes or went on trips with her, wanted to know where all that stolen money had gone. And Amanda? She panicked. I knew because within a few days, my parents called me. "Why are you spreading rumors about your sister?" my mom demanded. "You're making her life miserable." I let out a bitter laugh. "Oh, you mean because she's facing consequences? Yeah, that must be tough. She made a mistake," my dad added. "But you're being cruel." "A mistake?" I snapped. "She stole my entire savings. That wasn't an accident. That was theft." "She said she'd pay you back," my mom argued. "With what money?" I shot back. "She's broke. She blew through every dime." There was silence. Then my mom sighed. "She's struggling right now. She lost most of her friends because of what you said. Can't you just let this go?" I almost laughed. Let it go? She stole from me, and I was supposed to let it go just because she was finally facing the consequences? No, I was just getting started. The next step was her car. Amanda had one thing of real value: her brand new luxury car. It was her baby, the thing she constantly bragged about. But here's the thing. She hadn't actually bought it. She was leasing it under our dad's name. So I had a little talk with him. "She stole from me," I reminded him. "And you expect me to just get over it? Fine, but if you're so concerned about her well-being, maybe you should stop enabling her." He grumbled about how she needed the car to get to work, how she was already struggling, but at the end of the day, my parents weren't as rich as Amanda liked to pretend they were. They couldn't afford to cover her monthly payments now that she had alienated everyone willing to lend her money. So they pulled the plug. The car was repossessed within a month. Amanda, she was livid. She actually showed up at my apartment, banging on the door like a lunatic. I didn't open it, but I could hear her screaming. "You ruined my life!" she shrieked. I let her scream, let her rant, let her fully humiliate herself in the hallway before security escorted her out. Because now she finally understood what it felt like to have something taken away. And I wasn't even sorry. Not one damn bit. Amanda had always been the kind of person who thought she could do whatever she wanted without consequences. She had spent her entire life taking from me, from our parents, from anyone foolish enough to trust her, and getting away with it. But this time, she wasn't getting away with anything. After she lost her car, Amanda went into full meltdown mode. Apparently, it had been her entire personality. She would post daily about how luxury living is a lifestyle, and now she had nothing. Her influencer wannabe friends started pulling away once they realized she wasn't actually rich. And the best part? She couldn't even afford an Uber without borrowing money. I should have stopped there. I should have been satisfied with watching her lose everything. But then I found out what she did next. I got a call from my mom. Yes, my enabling mother, who sounded furious. "Are you happy now?" she snapped the second I picked up. I sighed. "What are you talking about?" "Amanda got fired," she shrieked. "She lost her job because of you." I blinked. "Excuse me?" She was already having a hard time, and then her boss heard those nasty things you were saying about her. "You just love to ruin your sister's life, don't you?" I almost burst out laughing right there, because let's get one thing straight. I hadn't contacted Amanda's boss. I hadn't even considered going after her job. But the fact that she got herself fired because of her own stupidity, that was just pure karma. So I asked the obvious question, what did she do? My mom huffed. "That doesn't matter." "Oh, it matters," I interrupted, "because I never said anything to her job, so if she got fired, that's on her." Silence. Then, finally, she muttered, "Got caught using the company card." I nearly dropped my phone. Amanda had stolen from her job? Apparently, she had been buying personal items, designer bags, spa treatments, even a hotel stay, and passing them off as business expenses. Her boss had been suspicious for a while, but when the rumors started circulating that she had stolen from her own sister, they took a closer look at her spending, and guess what? She had no explanation, so they fired her on the spot. I couldn't stop myself. I laughed. I laughed so hard I had to put my phone on mute. When I finally calmed down, I sighed. "So, let me get this straight. She stole from me, got away with it, but then got caught stealing from her job, and now it's my fault?" My mom didn't answer, because even she knew she had no defense. I smiled. That's what I thought. Then I hung up. I wish I could say that was the last time I had to deal with Amanda. that after losing her car, her friends, and her job, she finally learned her lesson. But of course, she didn't, because she had one last trick up her sleeve. A week later, I got a text from an unknown number. "Hey, I know things have been bad between us, but can we talk?" I stared at my screen, debating whether or not to respond. I had nothing left to say to Amanda. But curiosity got the better of me. "What do you want?" I replied. Her answer came quickly. "I just want to apologize. Can we meet?" I sighed, already knowing she was up to something. But fine, if she wanted to say her piece, I'd listen. We met at a coffee shop near my apartment. The second I saw her, I almost didn't recognize her. Gone were the designer clothes and the perfectly manicured nails. She looked tired, desperate. Good. She sat down, fidgeting with her cup. "Look, I know I messed up." I raised an eyebrow. "Which time?" She winced. "All of it." She sighed, running a hand through her hair. "I lost everything, okay? My job, my friends, my car. I know I don't deserve it, but can you help me? Just until I get back on my feet?" I stared at her, completely speechless. She had stolen my life savings. And now she had the nerve to ask me for money? I shook my head, letting out a humorless laugh. "You're unbelievable." Her face fell. "Please, just a loan. I swear I'll pay you back this time." I picked up my coffee, took a slow sip, and then smiled. "No," her eyes widened. "No?" "That's right," I said, standing up. "Figure it out yourself." And then I walked out, leaving her sitting there, completely alone. Walking out of that coffee shop felt like shedding 100-pound weight. For the first time in my life, I had no guilt, no second-guessing, no lingering what-ifs. Amanda had spent years taking from me. My patience, my time, my money, my trust, and now? I was done. Of course, she didn't let me go that easily. The moment I refused to help her, Amanda went nuclear. I woke up the next morning to a wall of text messages. "You're seriously leaving me with nothing? I'm your sister. You're supposed to help me. Fine, be as selfish, but don't come crawling back when you need something." Crawling back to her? I laughed so hard I nearly dropped my phone. I blocked her number. Then I braced myself for the next stage of Amanda's tantrum, our parents. Sure enough, my mom called me that night, her voice dripping with exaggerated concern. "Honey, I know Amanda made mistakes, but she's struggling right now. Can't you be the bigger person?" I was ready for this. I had been waiting for this. I repeated. "You mean like when she drained my entire savings and didn't feel the slightest bit guilty?" Mom sighed dramatically. "She's lost everything, sweetie. Don't you think she's suffered enough?" I let out a short laugh. "I don't know, Mom. When I lost everything, you told me to let it go. Shouldn't Amanda do the same?" There was a long, uncomfortable silence. Then my dad cut in. "You're punishing her, and that's not fair. She's family." Ah, there it was, the family card. I leaned back in my chair, rolling my eyes. Funny how family only matters when Amanda needs something. "She's trying to turn her life around," Mom insisted. "And all she's asking for is a little help." "She's asking for a handout," I corrected. "And I don't owe her anything," Mom's voice sharpened. "You're being vindictive." That made me laugh. Vindictive would be if I had pressed charges. Vindictive would be if I had ruined her credit. All I did was refuse to let her use me anymore. Another silence. Then my dad sighed. "We just don't want to see our daughters like this." I almost believed him. Almost. But the truth was, they weren't worried about Amanda's well-being. They were worried about who was going to take care of her now that I refused to. That wasn't my problem. So I ended the call with a simple, "I wish you cared this much when she stole from me." Then I hung up. And just like that, I was free. Amanda tried to cling to her old lifestyle, but without money, connections, or a way to fake wealth, she crumbled fast. She moved back in with our parents, but that didn't last long. For the first time, she became their burden instead of mine. And guess what? They hated it. They had spent years enabling her, telling her she was special, that she deserved the world. But when Amanda started demanding things from them the way she had always done with me, it took less than 3 months before they kicked her out. Suddenly, she had no job, no car, no savings, no backup plan. And that's when the final, glorious piece of karma hit. A friend sent me a screenshot of Amanda's newest Instagram post. She had started a GoFundMe. I kid you not, a GoFundMe. The caption? "Times have been really tough. I lost my job due to rumors and lies, and now I'm at risk of losing my home. Anything helps. Even $5 makes a difference. Amanda had spent years pretending to be a rich, successful influencer. And now, she was publicly begging for money. And the best part? No one donated. Not a single cent. The people she had scammed, lied to, and used over the years, they saw right through it. She got roasted in the comments. Didn't you just go on a Bali trip last year? So you stole from your sister and now you want us to bail you out? LOL. Girl, get a job. Within 24 hours, she deleted the post. That was the last time I heard about Amanda for a while. I moved on with my life. I rebuilt my savings, got a promotion at work, traveled, surrounded myself with people who actually valued and respected me. I was happier than I had ever been. Then, about a year later, I got a message. It was from Amanda. Hey, it's been a while. I was hoping we could talk. I stared at my phone, debating. Maybe she had changed. Maybe she had learned her lesson. Then I remembered all the times I had given her second, third, and fourth chances, and all the times she had used them to hurt me again. So I did what I should have done years ago. I deleted the message. And then I moved on. Amanda thought she could take from me forever. She thought I'd always forgive, always bail her out, always let her come back, no matter what she did. But this time, I let her drown in the consequences she created. And I never looked back.